Hey everybody, this is Carson from the Theme Park School podcast. Just wanted to jump in here real quick before this episode started to add a little bit of context. This is episode 6, part 2 of our conversation with two former students from Carnegie Mellon University, Benton Shortridge and Dustin Stephan. If you didn't listen to part 1, you might be caught a little off guard and confused by this conversation. So go ahead and go listen to that if you haven't yet. We last left, we were talking about the dark ride, the Old Mill dark ride that Benton and some of his classmates built at Carnegie Mellon University last spring. So we ended that, and then the episode's going to start with me asking Benton to kind of give a rundown of his time as an engineering student at the school. This is going to be the final episode of the year. Sorry it took so long to get out, finals, all that stuff. You know how that is. But we'll be back in 2021 with new students, new recent graduates, new stories to tell, new educators, all that fun stuff. So thanks for listening and enjoy.
So in addition to that, tell me a little bit about your experience as an engineering student at Carnegie Mellon. I know it's not an engineering or a theme entertainment specific engineering program, but it sounded like you did a couple things, pulled a couple strings here and there to kind of make it your own and tailor it to your own interests. So tell me about that too.
Yeah, definitely. So I took a pretty standard engineering curriculum at Carnegie Mellon University. I went there because it was the best engineering school I got into.
Yeah.
I had no idea about Carnegie Mellon's ties to themed entertainment when I actually, first showed up on campus. I'm thankful that I learned about them while I was there. But yeah, I had no idea about the Entertainment Technology Center or that, Disney Research had a lab on campus for a while, just shut down a couple years ago. But so it was pretty standard engineering curriculum for me, but I was able to kind of, like you said, tailor it to my interests in a couple of ways. One of them being that I was able to take a couple of ETC courses while I was an undergrad. They offer a few of them to undergrads. One of them being guest experience and theme park design with Shirley Saldamarco. She's awesome. She was the advisor for our theme park engineering group. And that class was fun. I got to concept out how to train your dragon theme park for my final. So, doesn't get much better than that as an engineer, especially. Yeah, compared to my other finals, that was great. And so, I got to do that. Took themed experience design studio class where they're essentially like, here's your budget. You can build whatever you want within the realm of a guest experience. And so, as a group of 3, our class had 3 people in it. We built an escape room and got to show it off at the ETC's showcase. And I believe that was the same showcase that the animatronic that we were just talking about before was at.
Mm. Yeah, I think you guys were right next door.
Yeah, we were like one door over. So that was fun, and I was super thankful to have the opportunity to show off some work that I did in the ETC. And so, got to take those classes as a part of my undergrad curriculum as electives. In addition to that, for my capstone, I built an interactive animatronic dog. So I was also thankful for the flexibility of that class and them being like, okay, here's your budget. Build something as long as you can prove that it would be a viable product. And I was like, you know what? There's not enough interactivity in theme park animatronics. Let's see if we can pitch this.
Yeah.
And so they said, sure. And my group, we built this dog named Sparky. And he was able to, we showed him a green ball, like a toy of sorts. And he was able to look at it up, down, side to side and do some tracking in that way. And when he was able to track it for a bit, he would have a happy sequence where the tail would wag, would bark, and, just be a happy dog. And so that was fun to be able to do that as my capstone. outside of classes, really wanted to try to get more connected to themed entertainment. And so, like I had mentioned before, started a theme park engineering group with my friend Shay. And through that is where we built the old mill and participated in competitions like the Ryerson design competition in Orlando and, Imaginations, stuff like that. But yeah, through that, we were also able to have speakers and attend conferences together. And that was, especially as engineers, our effort to connect what we had been learning to the themed entertainment industry. And, it worked out pretty well for a lot of us, and me being able to, get a job in the industry, working on rides. We have people do internships at Great Coasters International and Skyline Attractions, places like that. And so I'm thankful for that club, one, that club still exists and is operating, and two, that, for the opportunities that it's given me and my fellow classmates.
Yeah, that's another good tip too. If you're a student and you go to a school, I think even if you're in high school, and like probably depending on where you live, start like a theme park club or start like a TEA. And if you need help with that, email me, themeparkschoolpodcast@gmail.com. I will help you get that set up. Start that club. Yeah, I know it's definitely hard to find a community of these people that are passionate about theme parks, and people come to me and they say that that's probably one of their biggest problems. But I think as these like mega billion-dollar Disney Universal theme park projects gain more and more traction, I think there's like continuing to grow this community of young people who are growing up in, Wizarding World type things and are like immediately getting passionate about, wanting to work in this industry and facilitating that development early on in high school and college. And like Benton said, it's so easy to get people to come speak at like club meetings. They're happy to do it. People in the industry they love to talk. They love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about the projects that they've worked on. So just having that excuse of, hey, can you come talk to our club? Boom, you're in. Like pretty much anyone I know will be happy to talk to you. So definitely do that.
Yeah, that's so true. And, adding to what I said about, my curriculum had nothing to do specifically with themed entertainment. And yours doesn't have to, if you want to be in the industry. So, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, if you want to do a theme park engineering and your school has a theme park engineering club or a TEA club, join that. If it doesn't, start one, like my buddy Che and I did. But yeah, that's, other than being a good engineer and knowing what you're doing, that's a great way to show the industry that you're serious about it. And I think, what helped me get an internship at Disney was that I was like, yeah, we're building a dark ride right now. And they're like, really? And so, yeah, find a way to get involved in those things.
Absolutely. You don't have to be like me and possess 2 degrees that have the word theme or themed in the title. All you have to do is, be passionate, put out a quality portfolio and, network, and you'll be successful the way that Benton was. There you go.
I'm flattered again, but thank you.
You did.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, most industry veterans, they'll tell you that their career paths are nonlinear.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to attend a program that specifically approaches themed entertainment to get a job in the industry. Figure out what skills are going to be applicable for you and pursue that.
Yeah,
that's big that you mentioned that in terms of a lot of professionals paths being nonlinear. I feel like especially for engineers, we kind of we want it to be linear and think like, oh yes, get job here, get promoted here, and get exactly where I'm trying to go. But it might not be as nonlinear as the creative side can be, but definitely it's tough when you talk to some seasoned veterans in the industry, and a lot of them came from aerospace. Yeah. And you're like, I want to get into this industry out of college. What did you do? And they're like, oh, I was in aerospace for 20 years before I went to Walt Disney Imagineering. And you're like, oh, like, that's awesome. But like, you can't always get the most practical advice because a lot of more seasoned engineers, especially in the industry, came to it from other industries that they were in for a long time.
Right. Defense is big too, especially at UCF. People are always coming from defense. And ending up in theme
there's
parks.
a big irony there.
I don't know what that says about that transition, but it's definitely.
I mean, it's just where the jobs are, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's where the money
Quite a
is.
few people from my cohort, that's where they work.
You're building puppet animatronics, and other people are building war machines and stuff. Funny how that works out. Same principles still.
I mean, yeah, engineering is engineering.
Just making things go and making things work, no matter what it is.
I mean, yeah, basically.
All right, guys. Thanks for, giving me the lowdown. It's cool to hear the similarities between, my degree programs and Dustin. Obviously, we have courses that our programs pretty much word for word or project for project share, just because that's like that collaborative design studio type feel is what both our programs are going for. But Benton, during my undergrad, I definitely experienced the same thing. I was a hospitality management major, specifying in theme parks and attractions, but I still had to take hotel classes, and I was dreading those group projects. But then I would be in my theme park class, and I would be excited. It's like, yeah, man, time to make the Doctor Strange ride.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's all about applying your own interests and really. College gives you the opportunity to kind of forge your own path, and it helps too when professors and faculty members are open to that kind of tweaking of the curriculum to do what you want to do. But I have yet to run into anyone who is like anti-theme park. I also live in Orlando, so it's probably impossible to be anti-theme entertainment or theme park. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you don't have people being anti-theme park or themed entertainment, but I will say, like we mentioned the last time, it's not the most respected industry in academia.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the bigger issue is when I go to my, advisor and be like, hey, I'm trying to go to this conference. Can you help me get out of my classes so I can do that? And they're like, you're going there to get a job? I'm like, yes, I want to build rides.
Hey man, we're getting there. This is one little front in improving the academic community for themed entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that you don't have to have that awkward conversation with your counselors anymore. You want to do what? You want to go where?
I'm sure it's more common in Orlando, but yeah.
You'd be surprised because
really?
Because when I was trying to get out of stuff too, like, I need to go to IAPA, and they don't know what IAPA is. I was like, that's hard to believe, especially at Rosen College, which is 5 seconds from the convention center where IAPA is held.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah,
you think that they would know all about that?
Yeah, fun, whatever. Well, guys, thanks so much for talking about your time at Carnegie Mellon. Appreciate that. Like I said, the grandfather of themed entertainment education worldwide, and the community only seems to be growing up there. I meet more and more people who are CMU students or CMU alumni working in the industry now. So definitely, if you're an engineer looking for a place to go to school, or you already have an undergraduate degree and you're looking for something local to your area or something heavily technology, software, gaming based, as a graduate degree, definitely an option for you, I think. So I just had a couple more questions for you guys, my friends, tonight. The first one I was going to ask, but you guys kind of already covered it a little bit. I guess you can give me like a 1-sentence answer. Why do you think that CMU is the best place to study themed entertainment? I literally just answered that for you 2 seconds ago, but your reasoning summed up, I guess.
Yeah, I think you kind of just hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of opportunity there. I mean, if you're really looking to get yourself, I used my time at Carnegie Mellon to pivot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had a lot of experience in the industry, but how to pivot into more production and project management roles. And so, but it was easy for me to seek out ways to do that. Even in things that, kind of are lateral industry. And so I worked with the HCII, the Human Computer Institute. And so we were working on gamifying audio collection. So we were working with Philips and Bosch on how to, turn audio collection into a way to gamify it to make it more fun and intriguing. I worked with a natural history museum. They wanted to look at escape rooms and how to kind of pivot and make them educational based, and how to take traditional academic institutions and make them more relevant to modern audiences. And so there's a lot of different opportunities. Like Ben was talking about, there's people that have similar interests to you. So no matter what it is, you can find ways to accomplish that. I would always laugh because my little shuttle to go down to the ETC is a little separated from campus, but occasionally there would be a Quidditch club. And so you would drive and you would see people on broomsticks playing Quidditch.
Yep.
But I mean, so it really was the realm of that, all the way up to app development or building the dark ride. And then, as I mentioned earlier, with the alumni base, there's alumni in all facets of themed entertainment, location-based entertainment, as well as museums, gaming, huge gaming. The ETC does a lot with gaming, obviously. And so one of my cohort, she's working as a assistant producer or FX producer for The Mandalorian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
And so, I mean, from film to gaming to themed entertainment, there's a lot of opportunity, and it's really fun. Really fun place.
Yeah. I would like to hear from someone whose school does not have a Quidditch club in this day and age.
True.
I think UCF has had one like my entire time there, probably earlier too.
It was definitely new for me, especially coming from, I went to a big state school. So in Carnegie Mellon is pretty small. I mean, UCF's huge as well. But to go from a big school like that to something that's, has more of a homey feel, but all these little niche clubs, I hadn't seen that before.
It is like a shot. You're like, what are they doing over there?
One of those hoops, and then it dawned on me. I'm like, okay.
Yes. The brooms. Benton, same question.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of it. I'm really thankful for the connections and friends that I was able to, meet at Carnegie Mellon. Shirley Saldamarco, MK Haley, some really awesome people connected to the industry. I got to meet there. But I think my bigger point on this one was, what I had said before. I had no idea that Carnegie Mellon was connected to themed entertainment until I got there. And it was just kind of, the best engineering school I got into. And so I think, that's big for engineers in themed entertainment, is that I don't think that, the big names in the game really necessarily care that much which school you go to in terms of engineering. As long as you're a good engineer and you show that you're passionate for the industry. And I think you can do that anywhere, right? Like what my club did and I did with my friends in terms of building a dark ride, building an animatronic dog, building an escape room. You can do that wherever you are. And I think those are the things that really were important and impactful in my learning and experience in college. And so you can do that wherever you're at. Carnegie Mellon is certainly a cool place to do it, but you don't have to be there.
You sold it. You did.
Yeah.
It's a cool place to go. Boom, you did it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, really, the industry is based off of soft skills. So it's how you build those, how you're able to collaborate and talk to people, and not be off-putting, because that's hard for some people. And just being almost the best at what you do and bringing something to the table. You can, as long as you work on the skills and you're open-minded about collaborating and always growing, you're going to be great. You'll find a job.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, you don't have to go to Carnegie Mellon. That being said, Carnegie Mellon is really cool. And it's a really unique university where it's, really good at computer science, but then also musical theater, and, it has the entertainment technology center. So there's a lot there if you're interested. But at the end of the day, you don't have to go there to be successful.
And it sounds like they're building a dark ride again. So look out. All right, guys, next question. And this was tough last time, but hopefully it doesn't hit you as hard as it did last week. What you wish you knew, oh man, what you wish you knew then that you know now. I almost messed it up myself. What you wish you knew then that you know now. There it is.
Can you remind me how I answered this last time?
I don't even remember. You have to give a new answer.
I don't either. Cool. Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin, have an answer.
I mean, one of the biggest lessons at the ETC is don't be afraid to fail. And so that's something that I've been personally working on since then, and continuing to do is don't get in the way of myself and my own success. And don't be afraid to put whatever product out there. Perfect is the enemy of the good. So, just do it. Get off your butt and do it. I mean, I feel like that's half of life is putting the wheels in motion. Starting, it's great to have an idea, but figuring out the actionable items to implement that idea.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to fail. Like when your podcast doesn't record any of your audio and you have to record it next week.
You can always give it another shot.
Always do it again.
All right. Benton?
I remembered.
Good.
Yes. So basically, one of the things I wish I knew was about the invisible job market of sorts, especially in this industry.
Yes.
A lot of the job opportunities, opportunities out there when times are good even are not posted online, or, different departments at different companies just kind of want to get someone for a position right now. So they reach out to who they know. But yeah, a lot of the opportunities in this industry just come through networking and knowing people and being at the right place at the right time with the right skill set. And so I wish I knew that before, because, for me, spamming my resume to all the posted jobs out there never really did me much good.
Yeah.
And I thought it would, and it didn't. And then, all three of my opportunities, with Disney, Universal, and Zamperla, all of those came from going to the ASTM F24 conference and being there and talking to those people and saying, hey, I'm passionate about this. This is my resume. I'd love to work with you if ever given the opportunity. And those are the places where I was given opportunities.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I wish I knew earlier that, that's really the way, to get an opportunity in this industry is to get in front of those people, and, show them that you're passionate.
Yeah. That's a thing I learned early on too, because I used to pride myself on checking job postings every single day, like the same as I check Facebook or any social media, and people would get hired for stuff and be like, I didn't see that job get posted. So it's definitely a real reality of the industry, and it's so networking heavy and connection based, where a lot of those positions pop up for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely feel it's important to mention, in that networking, it's important to actually be friends with people.
Yeah, don't try to snipe them.
Don't just try to use people for an opportunity. Legitimately go out there, meet people, right. Make friends, and when you're having a good time and you're making friends, that's when things work out well. And nobody wants to be used in that way, and so just make friends. Have a good time, and things, tend to work out better than if you hadn't done that.
Yeah, people can definitely tell when they're being approached from that viewpoint as well, for sure.
Yeah.
That's where those soft skills come in handy.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. All right, you guys, third question here. What is your favorite software or programs that you use now? Alternatively, what in your field, your role, your position are some software abilities that you think are 100% necessary?
Oh, we're going deep here. I was using some SketchUp. I was working for a tiny home manufacturer at the beginning of the pandemic, doing some modeling and then rendering some things out. Lately, I've been using some Adobe Suite, video editing, Premiere Pro, as well as some Final Cut. For me, since I come from performance, I enjoy translating performance and time-based media through the lens of a different proscenium. So, how can we take performance and manipulate that through video? So that's something that I enjoy working with. As far as a producer project manager, I mean, every producer project manager, they have their own tools, but Excel, I mean, really, if you work with a spreadsheet, so Excel or Google Sheets, I was reading an Excel tomb, a giant book, also at the beginning of the pandemic, just to kind of work on some of my skills there. There's so many tips and tricks. So you work with the controls people at WDI, they can do amazing things with the spreadsheet.
Awesome. Benton?
Yeah. So for mechanical engineering, definitely SolidWorks.
Yeah.
SolidWorks is the biggest one for sure, followed by Inventor, depending on what what company you're working for has. And so, CAD softwares like that, if you're more on the construction side of things, for sure, 2D AutoCAD and, in some cases Revit and other, BIM softwares. But for me, it's definitely been a lot of SolidWorks and Inventor. And then definitely, Microsoft Suite is always really important. And for engineering calcs, it's definitely Excel and MATLAB. But I'd say, a lot of the kind of environments I've been around have been mechanical design oriented, and so that's a lot of SolidWorks and Inventor for sure.
Yeah, very nice. All right, final question, and then we will say goodnight here. Final question the second time around. And you both had good answers for this, I remember. Let's see if you remember them too. What is your favorite resource to learn about themed experiences?
Yes, I remember this one. But before I answer this one, I actually wanted to backtrack onto another thing that I wish I knew.
Go for it.
Because I know I had mentioned it last time. That's show up to like everything.
Yeah.
Like show up to the TEA events, IAPA events, ASTM, wherever people are that do what you want to do, show up to those events. I cannot overstate how important that is and how helpful it is for your learning and connection to the industry. And so, yeah, I don't even know what other opportunities I may have had if I had started going to all those events earlier. But definitely, especially now when everything's on Zoom, there's no excuse to just show up to every single event that you can. It's very easy to show up versus flying to Orlando. So yes, wanted to state that, super important.
Sure.
Then in terms of resources, MK Haley's spreadsheet of awesomeness, so cool, has resources on it for podcasts, books, websites, a lot of resources that are super helpful in learning about the industry and staying connected. For sure, MK's spreadsheet. I know you said last time that you'd be able to link it to the podcast. Awesome. But there's a lot of stuff in there. And also MK on Twitter shares a lot of really cool new happenings in themed entertainment and experience design. So another place to go check out as well.
Actually, I'm not going to share it because I just looked at the podcast list and I'm not on there. So I'm not sharing. I'm just kidding.
Dang. Okay.
No.
All right. Good luck getting MK on this podcast now.
I am kidding. I don't care. This podcast is like 5 episodes old.
True.
It's okay. I'm not actually bad. That was a joke. I like to joke around a lot. I'm not serious. Anyway. Dustin.
Yeah, the MK's spreadsheet is incredible. So it's a great resource, as well as following her on Twitter and other major players in the game. I come from entertainment in a more holistic way, so I try to stay on top of industry trends as far as what's going on in commercial entertainment. Stay watching the latest shows, etc. But specifically themed entertainment, following what's going on with the IAPA, Blue Loop, the industry trades. I'm on a couple forums, industry-specific forums, so that it's kind of fun to follow up on. But I don't, I'm not investigating to a T, but try to, stay on the general pulse of what's going on and stay informed.
Yeah.
Yes. I get daily emails from ITPS and Blue Loop and all that, and I love being able to stay up on the theme park news.
Yeah, it's so easy now too, and using social media not just as like a social media platform, but as like a legitimate like educational resource, like where all these things just get posted every day. Like I follow so many themed entertainment accounts on Twitter and get news not just from Disney but from Efteling and worldwide ongoings of themed entertainment, and staying in the know that way. Definitely don't scroll looking at don't look at TikToks until there's a themed entertainment news TikTok.
They exist. They're a themed entertainment TikToks.
No. All right, send me that link. I'll put it in the show notes as well. That sounds pretty
all
good.
right.
Oh yeah.
No, Disney Parks has a TikTok.
Oh, okay, like the official channel. I was talking about like if someone was like doing like themed entertainment, like if Blue Loop had a TikTok or something.
Well, I mean, I saw some TikToks of a guy building a dark ride at home.
Sure, that counts. Dustin, what were you saying?
Oh, just that everything is so accessible once again.
Yeah.
That it's so easy to stay engaged. The case studies, the TEA case studies, that's always great. Generally, what's considered the best of the industry. There's lots of ways to see what's going on out there.
Yeah, another resource that I actually had just thought about. Yeah. There are some awesome YouTube channels out there, especially if you're interested in theme park engineering and ride design. There's some awesome videos going over like how Test Track works, how Omnimover attractions work. That is super interesting, and also the patents for a lot of that technology is public knowledge. So if you just want to scroll through the Omnimover patent, it's super cool, very complicated, but super cool. And so a lot of that's out there, especially if you're interested in ride systems.
I'm giving a plug right now. My buddy Kevin Kalbfeld, who used to work at Universal Creative, has recently started a YouTube channel with a puppet, and it's called Themantics. And he's doing like philosophical, like deep breakdowns of theme park attractions and how theme parks like mentally play out in people's heads, and like the different types of people that visit theme parks and how their mind processes the experience and how they individually as a person treat themed entertainment environments. So I'm going to plug that. Themantics. It's a YouTube channel. If you like puppets, there's a puppet involved. But
I'm looking that up right now.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think
Kevin does a good job.
That is going to be coming out, that's coming out now and is coming out in the future. We're going to have a lot of really amazing content and educational resources, especially with so many people in the industry that have unfortunately lost their current positions and have the time and the opportunity to share and generate some things. I think that these new platforms, YouTube, etc., a great way to engage with people and explore topics that until recently have kind of gone under the radar. As we were talking about earlier, I mean, there really haven't been a whole lot of themed entertainment programs, and now they're popping up left and right. I mean, granted, you don't have to go to one to get involved in the industry, but a path into the industry has never been clearer, which is pretty exciting for the next generation of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we did it, round 2. And good thing we did, because it was an extra 15 minutes that we talked. So you get 15 minutes of extra advice from these two.
Please tell me you recorded this time.
Oh, I didn't hit the... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, thank goodness.
It worked out.
15 quality minutes.
It was 15 extra. We hit some new stuff. We touched on all the good old stuff that we missed. There was like a dark cloud of, quote, the last time hanging over us the entire time. But I felt that. We definitely lived up to it. For sure. But I want to thank you guys again for coming on. Really appreciate it. Great insight. Like I said, these guys are just so smart and they're doing everything right. So definitely follow what they're doing. DustinStephan.com, BentonShortridge.myportfolio.com. Go check those out. Especially if you have a lot of free time right now and you're building portfolio websites. Those are good examples of how to build a portfolio website as well, in my opinion. Check them out. LinkedIn, whatever else you got. Check it out for sure. Thanks, guys, again. Really appreciate it. Have a happy holiday. I don't know what else to say.
Oh, thank you.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's interesting to have to do this all over again. But lesson learned. Don't be afraid to fail, like Dustin said, all that stuff. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Carson.
See you next time.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to Theme Park School, a themed experience educational podcast. Have a question about the podcast or themed experience in general? Be sure to reach out to us at themeparkschoolpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Theme Park School Podcast for book recommendations, helpful resources, and more. Theme Park School, a themed experience educational podcast, is not affiliated with any theme park, design firm, university, or trade organization. Views expressed are those of the host and the guests.